You know when the line is about defence?
Yep.
You get opened up so easily, so early.
Yep.
What did that happen?
Oh, we were put under pressure by a very good side, which forced turnovers, and they're the hardest ones to defend when you turn the ball over. And they, you look at the game, and clearly everyone looks at the game and would say we overused the ball. But that's the pressure Hawthorn bring. The two sides I think that have probably put us under that much pressure have been Hawthorn and Geelong. And they sit 1-2 on the ladder. We know we've got lots of work to do to still handle the pressure that those top sides can put on you.
Was today more of another learning lesson for you than anything else?
Yeah, well, I hope so. I think that's what it is. It's we've got an opportunity to play against the best sides, and when you do, you do learn lots from them. We think we got a lot out of the Geelong game. Certainly get a lot out of every game, but the better sides they seem to be able to arm wrestle you into a direction that they want to go. And they then can control the game a bit more.
What went wrong in the third quarter, Ken? What got you to stop their
I
run?
think we're probably our own worst enemy a fair bit with we turn the ball over, and when you go forward into their forward line, they make you pay, and they took 20 marks in their forward line. It's just they're a good group, and we paid a price for their pressure.
Have they got the best score spread, the talent in the league?
Yeah, I'd say they're pretty close. They had a bloke missing today too, who was pretty handy for them too. So I'd reckon they're pretty close. But on a day, sides can all look pretty dangerous, I reckon.
What was the thought behind having Jake Neves the sub today?
Look, a bit said before the game, there's a little bit of management with Jake as well, like we did with Ollie a couple of weeks ago. They're in their first year of football. We haven't had many opportunities to probably spell them. And we take an opportunity when it come out today that the conditions are a little bit heavier, which are not ideal probably for Jake, and we made the decision then to look after him a little bit, and he come on and he did his little cameo, albeit he had 3 possessions and kicked a couple of goals.
Can you look at lessons about hanging on to the ball and holding up the play when it starts to open up like that?
I'm not quite sure what you mean.
In that first quarter, there's that big run on the Hawthorn start. Is it fancy you guys just didn't hold the ball, didn't hold up the play just to settle it down?
Yeah, look, I reckon we got good lessons today. That they were able to do both. I reckon they were able to quick kick the ball at the right times, and then when they got control of the ball, they were able to pull us apart with a bit of their boys. We know that's what we want. That's where we've got to get to. But clearly, they've been doing it for a lot longer than us. They're a very mature side, and they've done it for a lot longer. As a team, and we plan to do similar sorts of things, but the execution sometimes gets broken down by the opposition.
John, previous game earlier in the season, so they had trouble kicking the goal. I thought you played a lot better today. Was it a huge relief for you when you kicked that first one? Give you a lot of confidence?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, from a personal point of view, it's good to get the first one through. Unfortunately, after that, I missed a few. They weren't quite as bad as misses as that first game a few weeks back, but yeah, it's still not acceptable, and it really hurts the team and I'm sure the supporters and everyone when you miss them. So hopefully I'll build on this game and string a few together and start getting them goals through and really playing my role for the team.
How difficult is it out there? Because from our point of view, the wind looked to be going down towards the golf course, and yet the scoring end was northern. Was it swirling or?
No, it wasn't too bad today actually. It was the rain obviously stayed away. It was pretty wet overnight and stuff like that, but conditions were actually pretty good for footy, and yeah, obviously they just brought that heat of a top 2 team or a top team, and we didn't quite handle that and have the composure to handle that today, and sort of that 6 or 7 goal margin is where we're kind of at, how far we're behind them top teams, but hopefully we will bridge that gap, and we've already bridged that gap this year considerably, and we'll keep on bridging that gap, and that's where we want to get to.
John, how hard are you working on your goal?
Very hard. I can answer it for John. John spends lots of time on his goal kicking, like all our forwards, but clearly for John it's a bit more of an issue with people, and he works incredibly hard on his goal kicking.
You feel he's improving, getting better each week?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. He was really good for us today. I think taking 6 marks, 2 contested marks, albeit he kicked 1 goal too. I think they were, in the conditions, they were pretty solid. I thought it was a really good return for him because he was unlucky to go out of the side. And the opportunity to bring him back in with Westy out of the side shows us that we could use him in the team, I reckon.
Yeah, you made the point about West offering suspension.
Yeah.
Is it more reinforced by what you saw today, and you hope that he sees it as well?
Oh, I've no doubt he does. I mean, as I said, it's out of character for Westy what he done, and but again, it probably helps us because it's part of our learning package. It goes, we don't do that. We can't afford to do that. We don't want to do silly stuff that puts the team at jeopardy and makes the team weaker. And Westy knows that. He sat up with us today, and I'm sure he appreciated that and that he would be the first player to say he let the side down.
How is he missing not only forward but also his ability to act as that roadblock in the back half as well, which probably would have cut some of those Hawthorn passing off?
Yeah, I think, look, there's no doubt about it. I think we'd be quite, someone asked before about the damaging of the Hawthorn forward. I think we'd be quite a damaging forward line if we could have Butcher, Westhoff, Schultz, Wingard, Robbie Gray, Jake Need, Monfries types in our forward line. We'd be a pretty damaging forward line, I think, once we get some time together. This bloke's played very little football, so that's why Westie's so important to us. And when he's in the side, we can actually allow Westie to play a bit more of that utility role, which he's so good at.
Yes, obviously John came in for Westie today to make two changes, but clearly your best side moving forward's got both John and Westie in there.
Yeah, I think we make no secret of that we think we would like to have both in the side at the right time. And the last couple of weeks we've been playing really solid football. John's had to work hard to get his spot back, and he got it. He lost his spot with a bit of bad luck. He gained his spot back with a bit of good luck, I suppose.
John, Ken mentioned the marks just before 6 grabs. Feeling like the touch is coming back?
Yeah, obviously good to take a few grabs, but I think the form was a little bit patchy. Probably personally had a good first quarter and then go missing for a bit, and then probably a little bit better in the last again. But it's just about getting that consistency, and hoping that will come with game time and just stringing a few together. Kenny just said, still haven't quite played the games and learnt, really gelled with the boys where I run and where they want to kick it and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll come with game time, and I'll get that consistency and play a really good full 4 quarters.
Ken, it could have been the month from now, Collingwood's in the Hawthorn hasn't come out of it 2-2. What do you think you got? What do you...
Look, we got great experience. That's the number one thing. We got some great results. We got some great belief, no doubt about that, in the first couple of weeks, and then we got some really strong lessons, I reckon, in the last 2 weeks against top 4 sides. And but it was a great challenge for us. But the hard part about that for us is everyone goes, that was our tough month. Well, next week's just as tough for us, and we have to turn up and make sure we play really well again next week, and see what we have learnt over the last month and see if we can apply that even better next week.
What's the main lesson? What's the main lesson from that?
When you think you're sound defensively, you'll get shown up if you don't keep at it. And I think that's what we've shown up. I think last week was 118 points today, again about 120 odd points we conceded. They're not scores that we want to concede, but they showed us that if you're not quite right all over the ground, you will leak those goals and they will be able to get out the back on you.
So do you absolve your defence of the Walden Blake today, or how did you rate when that shot back?
Oh no, I think we share it. I think we share it as a team. No doubt they took 20 marks in our back 50, which is directly related to defenders on forwards. No doubt about that, but that's also a cause from up the field sometimes, and the turnovers are almost impossible to defend sometimes. You really don't get a chance to recover from a turnover because we're going forward and we get caught on the back foot a little bit. But there was goals certainly just before half time shots on goal that we gave up, from poor team defence. So I think it's typical of any team. It's that the whole side have to be in it together to make sure we get it right.
It's a rude awakening. If you're not all on it together for the 4 quarters, you sort of said several times, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah,
no, it's not so much a rude awakening. It's a fact that we know, and we just got to make sure. And our supporters that watched us today going home, they'd be thinking, well, look, we're okay, but we've still got plenty more to do. And I've said that every week. I think I've stood up here. Let's not forget that we've still got plenty more to do and plenty more to learn, and we'll have these games where it's not going to quite work the way we'd like.
Is that patency complacency pretty typical of the young side?
Sorry?
Is that pretty typical of the young side, that sort of defensive complacency?
I think it's typical of a good side against you. They'll make you pay, and that's, again, as I said, Geelong made us pay here, and Hawthorn have made us pay again today. They've got outsiders at times. Our contested possession was very good. We won the contested possession. They got us on the outside, and that's exactly what Geelong got done to us a bit.
Hamish Hartlett struggled with 12 disposals today. How did you see his performance?
Yeah, so it's a fair assessment. He struggled. He had Lewis go to him early, which he certainly battled a little bit with. We tried to get him to go to Hodge a bit after that, which slowed Hodge down, which we were pleased with. But overall, Hamish is proud. He would expect to play better than he did today.
He's a game breaker and a match winner. How do you get those not so great games out of his game? Does that just come with experience, or...?
More opportunities, I reckon. More opportunities, and as you say, more games, and more times that he's put in that position where he's challenged. And all the good players, Sam Mitchell's been through it. We've seen him today. He goes through it, and Kane's kept him reasonably under control. And then, you see the good players week in, week out. they get that attention, and then they learn to deal with it. And I've been lucky enough to work with probably the best one in the comp, and he's done that, and he now does it week in, week out, where he's able to handle that pressure. And hopefully at some stage, Hamish will be able to be one of the elite midfielders of the competition and handle that pressure of someone being close to him, but also not letting it stop his influence on the game.
Does he cope with it okay mentally?
Oh, I think so. I think it's challenging for any player, I reckon, when you go out there and you say, oh, gee, this bloke's he's playing me real tight, makes it a bit more difficult. But I think he handles that. It's not something that, if you had to give him his choice, I reckon he'd like to go out there and just let him run a bit. But he knows he's got to deal with that.
Ken, there wasn't a big finish. Is that a sign of the past month or a sign of Hawthorn?
Their big finish?
Yeah. No, there wasn't that. You know, we now used to Port Adelaide.
Yeah, coming home. Yeah, look, at maybe a little bit. We've come off a shorter break, a 6-day break, and just had a pretty strong month of football. But look, I don't think so. I think it's just more what Hawthorn done to us. They were super.
And Matty Lobe was pretty good again in the rucks. Must be happy with his development.
I must say I cross my fingers a lot when he goes out there because he's on his own, and we know we've got Jackson that helps out a little bit, and Westy wasn't in the side today, so we had to turn to John a little bit too. So, it's a significant risk for us, but it's one that we think's worth taking at the moment, and we think Lobes is just really growing quickly as a ruckman.
Is he benefiting from doing it all by himself to some degree, just giving that experience and exposure to it all?
Yeah, I think that's evident in the way he's playing. He's handling it better and better each week, and look, we put it on him before games during the week that he's going to have to work hard on his own, and he's been able to do that well because we want to make sure if we play a second ruck that he's in good form, and and Roofy's got a way to go to get his form right.
Ken, if I found a pot of gold for you, would you be happy to send a reserves team to the VFL?
If you found me a pot of gold.
Yeah. Anything you want. One of those things on the wish list.
Yeah, if you give me anything I want Port Adelaide Football Club to be one club. That's what I'd love.
Yeah, but that's...
And I'd love that to be Port Adelaide in the SANFL with our players playing for Port Adelaide, and we know I know this is a bit of a story going on at the moment, but I know the tradition of the footy club, the history of the footy club. We just want to be really strong. We want Port Adelaide to be in Port Adelaide, and we want to play here. We want our side to play together, and that's our club.
But isn't that handcuffing you that you'll be the only coach in the AFL next year without a reserves team?
No, not look. They're decisions that we have to make for the long-term benefit of this football club, and this football club's called Port Adelaide, and we want to make sure that it stays strong right through the SANFL and the AFL. And if that means that we have to bide our time a little bit, we bide our time a little bit. We've been able to develop our players okay at this stage, and people have written that we've had 2 Norwich Rising Stars this year, sorry, and we've had young players come through. We've had blokes like this standing up and playing. So, look, perfect world says all our players would play for Port Adelaide under the umbrella of Port Adelaide Football Club, and we'd get the best of both, I think.
If I give you the best of both worlds with the Magpies as they are, and you put aside the VFL, would you take it?
Look, my preference is to have Port Adelaide play for Port Adelaide in the SANFL. No, in the SANFL. I think our best model would be to be Port Adelaide playing in the AFL and Port Adelaide Magpies playing in the SANFL with all our players in that, because I think it works. I think it's a no-brainer, to be honest. But I'm not making the decisions.
But you can make the other decision. You can take all your players out, go to the VFL, and be as happy as Larry there.
Yeah, there's those. They can be made, but there's a lot of things to weigh up. And Keith and David, they're making decisions based on the long-term benefits to this football club as well as the short-term, and that's what we have to remember. We want the long-term benefits to be Port Adelaide Football Club. We're the jumper in the SANFL and we're the jumper in the AFL, and we're all under the one umbrella. We are one club. That's what we say we are, and that's exactly what we are. We want to be one club, and we want to stick strong to that.
Injury-wise,
Yeah, no, all clear. All clear. Thanks, guys.